Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another moon reading. This one for the new moon in Pisces that occurs this Saturday. I assume Sunday morning transit for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere. Excuse the lighting. It's still dark out in the morning here. And I mean, watery Pisces. This moon feels really big for me, and for the collective. The sacred masculine has been going through a lot. So the masculine side of yourself, if you identify as female, or for the men out there who identify as male, there's a lot happening. So if you feel like there's stuff that doesn't really make sense, like the collective is going through a massive release and sort of upgrade, so things have been feeling challenging in that aspect. But Pisces is, this beautiful sort of adaptive sign. They have this ability to really embody water and to adjust and to flow in the way that they need to, depending on the situation. And while they don't have the same stability or the same sort of groundedness that Earth has, a lot of those other signs can really learn the adaptability from Pisces. And there's a quote from the musician Joni Mitchell that I really love that says, "If you hold sand too tightly through your hands, it'll slip through your fingers." And that, I feel, is sort of the energy of this new moon. But we're going to do our reading. For those of you who are new, I do a 4-card reading. Primary energy up top, shadow energy down below, the energy that needs to be brought forward to the surface, and then a block and a path read. So the energy underneath is the energy that you can embody and sort of help yourself bring into the situation so that you can feel free and you can maybe really enjoy this new moon, or you can enjoy this new lunar phase. And the energy on top is the current energy that's keeping you stuck or making you feel blocked. If you want to book a personal reading with me, I will leave the link in the description box below. As well, I'm launching my 3-month private healing program. It's a bit of a coaching program, a bit of a healing modalities program, so you'll learn some intuitive skills through it. I'll leave the link for that below as well. It's called the Ascension Code. But let's get to this reading. So, for our primary energy here, we've got the Knight. There's been something that you have been holding on to for so long, and you have been working towards for so long. And I'm just fixing the autofocus. We'll leave it. And it's starting to feel really heavy, and it's starting to feel a bit like maybe it's not going to happen, or maybe I should just drop it, or maybe it's not relevant right now. Maybe it's not part of my story right now. And the Knight is asking you, can you let go of all of the expectations and all of the sort of grandiose visualizations you had about this dream, but keep the core? Can you let go of all of these steps that you were going to make and all of these things you were going to try and do to get there, but keep the essence of the dream alive? Keep the true desire. If you were to peel something away and you still just had that kind of crystalline core in the middle, can you get rid of all of the detail and keep that core? Because there may be a new way of approaching it, and you're certainly not meant to give up. But maybe the way that you have been trying to proceed is no longer sustainable for either the way that the world is, or the way that you've changed, or the way that anybody in the situation has changed. So that's our primary. This is our shadow card. This is going to mean a couple of things for a couple of different people. There's, this energy of the changing seasons. And for those of you in the southern hemisphere, it's fall, or in the warmer climates, sort of the rainy season. And for us in the northern hemisphere, it's this sort of inkling towards spring. And often with these changes, we tend to have these sort of social waves of, everyone hanging out more all of a sudden, or everybody reconnecting, or all of these things. And the sage is really asking us to either, if you have begun to create a sort of private devotional practice with yourself, whether it's journaling or giving yourself time to go for a walk, or just spending quality time alone, make sure that you maintain that as you go forwards. It may be something that you've kind of been neglecting lately and you've kind of been putting off to the side. But this shadow card is saying that if you don't maintain that, or if you haven't started it, if you don't start it, you are at risk at running off the track and off the rails. It's not sustainable for anybody, sort of holistically or spiritually, to constantly live their life without having that aspect of self-reflection and having that aspect of time to themselves. Not even necessarily mulling over their thoughts per se, but just actually spending some quality time with just you and learning what that feels like and knowing what that feels like and loving what that feels like. The sage, again, both energies actually, interestingly, I pulled both masculine cards, but both energies of these cards are also emphasizing this concept that things are moving slowly. Some people are kind of at this, I'm over COVID aspect, but to look beyond the actual concept of the pandemic and to look more towards what's actually going on with the planet and how do things feel. There's this sort of emphasis on getting off of the train and really moving into a period of things that take more time. And maybe that's developing things more closely and more clearly in your own life in ways that are truly flushed out. Or maybe it's just accepting the fact and resonating with the fact that things that you're trying to manifest or that you're working towards take time to change and to develop and to create. Softness and slowness, those are the two words that are really coming through for me. Excuse me. Sorry about this autofocus. This camera's been a little bit curious lately. Okay, so for our block in our path. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. This is our block card. And there's this emphasis and this desire for when are things just gonna get here? Like when are things just gonna happen, and when are they just going to? It's a little better. When are things just going to be here and to be ready, or to be fixed, or to be changed? And there's this sort of, envision of, the seasons are going to change, it's going to be summer and everything's going to be awesome. And there's this neglect of the fact that have you already worked through everything that you need to work through? Or are you just visualizing a better future because you don't want to work through what you're going through right now? There's a very big difference between visualizing the positives and visualizing the outcome that you want to have to help manifest that, and visualizing the outcomes that you want to have because you're uncomfortable in the situation you're in now. So there's this sort of, the bees coming as this sort of warning sign of, rushing things and willing things to be here faster. If you haven't done the work and you don't feel ready or prepared, then it's going to fall apart when you receive what you've been asking for. So although it's uncomfortable and although it's slow and although it can be tiring sometimes, keep doing the work. And yes, visualize better days and visualize that sort of energy that comes with warmer times. But rushing is your fake friend. It's your friend that says that things are all going to be awesome, but they're really not. So just be conscious of that one. And then your path down below. Interesting. This is going to be a big move for some of you. So, I'm sorry, folks, about the autofocus. There we go. I wonder if it's the lighting. So, this is our pathway card, and some of you, this is going to be straightforward and pretty clear, and it's literally just like you can see the ram's heads in the back here, which to me always represents a strong Aries person. But the pathway is literally going to be like, just ask for it. What do you want? What do you want changed? What do you want to have your needs met? What do you want to have so that things feel better in your situation? Maybe this is coming up to a time where you actually just have to ask for it. You just have to advocate for your needs. And that, for some people, is the most terrifying thing in the world, even if it's totally valid and even if it's totally supported, because it's risky and you're putting yourself out there in a position of vulnerability where someone can potentially reject you. And from past child things and movements through the sort of human world, rejection is definitely our biggest fear. And, we don't want to be kicked out of the tribe. And we don't advocate for our needs because we would rather just keep the status quo going because, we're accepted or we feel comfortable, even if it's not fitting us any longer. So advocating for your truth and speaking up is going to be sort of your magic move that you can make in this lunar cycle. It could be something so small as well, like just a comment or maybe a conversation that you are a part of frequently and you're kind of getting tired of it and you just don't resonate with it. And it could just be as simple as you going, I don't agree with that. And that could change everything. So reflect on which moment in your life, or maybe it's a specific situation where you've been keeping silent for too long, or you haven't been keeping silent, but you haven't been being very direct. Like I mentioned about the sacred masculine, like the sacred masculine is going through a lot. We've got a lot of masculine cards today. And really, part of the journey on the way to healing here is going to be for the people who have been living in their feminine so heavily and living in that receptivity so heavily, to finally take action and go, actually, that doesn't feel that good for me. Or actually, I would really feel supported if we could do it this way. And making that flip. Because yes, we've got to rebalance and we've got to include the feminine, but there are so many other aspects of personality and of people that we have in our world that we're really trying to achieve a state of balance, which means that some people who have been in their yin for too long need to sort of take that brave step and move into the yang and into the Mars action sort of phase or part of their lives and their activity. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being patient about the autofocus. Hopefully the words are really all that you needed to hear. I am still doing free readings. This is my last month. I'll post that in the description box below as well. If you want these readings in advance, please join the Indigo Instinct Healing Matrix. I post a new song every Sunday, and I do all these readings and the Transmission Tuesdays in advance, and they come out later on YouTube and Instagram. So I really hope this landed for everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon. Blessings.